Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh here at the David Lawrence Conference Center. I'm sitting here with one of the rock stars of the conference. Chris Smalls is the president of the Amazon Labor Union, America's first independent union led by workers. Chris, thanks for taking time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since we've had you back on the program. And from the last time to this time, you're now a rock star.
Yeah, it has been. It's been crazy.
I love the enthusiasm of, yeah, you're a rock star. Yeah, it's been crazy.
No, that's just me on day to day.
But, here's the thing. Everybody I talk to here is looking to you as the answer for the labor movement. We're in a moment where people are saying, hey, organizing, people are more interested now than they've been in a long time, and everyone's looking to you as the way forward. That's got to come with some weight on it.
Absolutely. It's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I know that I have a strong team, and, our inspiration is inspiring millions of people. And, my job is just to continue that message and show that solidarity with everybody.
No, and you're doing a great job at it. But, what you did in Staten Island, the work that you did at JFK 8 and the organizing that you did, is that something that you can replicate in Albany, for instance, and in other places? Because, I remember talking to you, and you were living in a hotel. You were there all the time. I mean, heavy labor intensive. Is that something that can be replicated time and time again?
Yeah, we're going to take some wins and losses, but we're going to take a shot. Taking a risk is the first step. And, Albany workers, they're ready to go. My job as the interim president is to go with the workers' decision. It's a democratic union, and when the workers say they're ready to file their petition, I support that 100%. So whatever happens, but I know we're going to give it our all. And they have a great leader up there, Heather Goodall, and we're happy that they're ready to go. We're going to be behind them.
No, it's great to see all of this organizing, especially from young people and the bottom up, which for someone who's been in the labor movement and fighting for labor rights for better than 30 years, to see finally the kind of enthusiasm that I was hoping at every crisis point would come. I'm optimistic of the future for probably the first time in a long while. But the reality is I think our laws are so badly broken that I fear this moment gets bogged down in procedure. Any concern on that level?
No, not if I got something to do with it.
There you go.
They invited the wrong person to the White House already. Once you let me in, I get a glimpse of what the things that come in the future, and we're not going to stand for that. We're going to hold everybody accountable, and if it starts with our elected officials, I have no problem calling it out. As you've seen in the past. So. No.
You see, and I tell people, if you want to look at a master's class on how to organize and do, get grassroots, bottom-up organizing, look to what you've been able to do. Because you really haven't been political. You haven't staked a flag in the ground on either side of the political fence. You're talking about, hey, how do we make people's lives better? And I think that's what has to be done across the spectrum.
Yeah. I told Lindsey Graham, this ain't a left or a right thing. It's a workers thing. And it's true. We can't tie ourselves to political parties because we have to represent all workers. And I can tell you 8,300 people in Staten Island at Amazon. We're going to have people that's going to be Trump supporters and have different political views. So we can't exclude them. We have to just keep and build off of the workplace commonality and the workplace issues.
Because at the end of the day, wages, hours, conditions, that should be universal, right? Especially conditions. I mean, because I sit and I talk to workers from Amazon, and the conditions they talk about, the injury rates, all of the heat conditions. We just talked to somebody from San Bernardino when they had the walkout on Monday, and deplorable. And finally, people saying we've had enough. I think it's important. It's an important moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we are pedal to the metal, trying to spread nationwide, just like Starbucks. We're joining picking lines with other industries across the nation, showing that solidarity. Me traveling across the nation on this hot labor summer tour, just trying to spread that message and keep that awareness and keep the iron hot. That's what we all have to do. We can't let this window of opportunity pass us.
Now, one of the knocks is that you organized one facility. Are you ever going to get a contract? And part of me goes, yeah, okay, I understand the argument, but the other part of me is it's building worker power. This idea that you're empowering people to demand better, I think that's just as important as getting a contract in the near future.
Yeah, and the only way we get a contract is we have to be strategic and smart as well. Of course, one building is not going to do it, but we have to inspire other buildings to get involved, which we're doing right now. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So it's a slow grind. I know things and people want things to happen overnight and right away after the victory, but it doesn't work that way, especially with these laws in this country and the way the NLRB process is. It takes months and it could take a year or two, but we're not going to give up. And if we can force them to come to the table sooner, we're going to exhaust all those options as well.
No, this really is a David and Goliath scenario. I mean, Amazon's a multi-trillion-dollar corporation. They're enormous. You're just a guy who a couple months ago was living in a hotel, bringing food to people in the parking lot, getting arrested for it. How's the rest of the labor movement reacted to that victory, and are resources coming to help you fight those battles? Because look, Amazon's not going to run out of time or money or energy to fight you at every legal battle. I know you were at the AFT convention spending most of your time in a hotel room doing a deposition.
Yeah, definitely. We know that they're not going to give up on their end. Same thing with us. The resources are coming now. The labor movement is definitely fired up and inspired by our victory. And people are getting involved and donating to our funds. We're going to need all of that because we have to include the community in these other campaigns that will be launched as well. It didn't happen just by the people in the building. It happened with knowing that we have outside support, and we want to continue to grow that. So my job, once again, is to harness those resources for us, traveling, connected with different people, different unions, different locals, different organizations across this country that are going to get involved right away and help us with our campaigns.
Now you've been doing the miles. I see you just about everywhere. You're the hardest working man in labor. You're listening to the Rick Smith Show. We're with Christian Smalls. He's the president of the Amazon Labor Union. And there's been a lot of knocks lately. I know Stephen Greenhouse wrote a piece recently that the labor movement hasn't done enough on the organizing front, haven't done enough to support groups like yours. Is that fair?
That's true. It's fair, and it's okay to hold unions accountable, too. There's a lot of established unions with leadership that doesn't see eye to eye with the way, we're organizing and Starbucks is organizing because they're used to a certain style and tradition. But we're in a new school generation of organizing. And this is a new face of labor. And obviously, I'm not the traditional style suit and tie president that you'll see in the unions. So it's a little different, but they have to understand we're not going anywhere, and this is how it's going to be. We're in the 21st century, and we have to adapt to the times that we're in, and the corporations have no problem doing it. Labor can't be the same way. They have to make sure that the younger generation takes the torch and lead the way.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, Chris, the reality is it's still old school organizing, still person-to-person, face-to-face, on the ground, community building, just as much as it is demanding better wages, hours, and conditions, no?
Yeah, but we have a lot more tools now. Social media is definitely huge in our campaigns, TikTok, things like that, obviously wasn't around back in the 30s and the 40s. It was face-to-face and word of mouth and several conversations. But now we have creative ways, and we have to get creative because these corporations, they're infiltrating in ways that are just unimaginable with the amount of money that they're using. We're talking about donating to public schools, starting young, infiltrating our classrooms. The only way we do that is stopping them at the gates.
No.
And spreading them.
I'm glad you brought that up because we just had a conversation with Jeff Bryant the other day.
Yeah.
And he was explaining how Amazon in California has funded the schools to be a partner in job training, where all it's really turned into being is job training for Amazon. It's not teaching them the code. It's not teaching them any vocation. It's just training the next generation of cheap labor.
And also training them to become union busters. They're not only the classrooms at the bottom and kindergarten and beyond, they're talking about college courses where employee relations is a course for business. And we all know employee relations mean you're going to be a union buster.
Yeah.
So that's just the creativity that these corporations are using. They're using teenagers. I just left a Fortune 500 convention, got billionaires as 16-year-old raising startup companies that are going to be autonomous, that's going to take jobs away from people. That's the mindset they're thinking, trying to create. And we have to fight that right now with labor, and education is definitely vital. Teaching students and kids at a younger age the real history behind labor.
Yep.
I can tell you now, if I was going to be as cool as a rapper, as a union organizer, I would have did this a long time ago.
No, absolutely. And this is one of the things, being here in Pittsburgh, there was a guy who was a rapper here, Jasiri X. I don't know if he still does, but he used to do some really great labor-based rap songs. We used to use it when we were just doing commercial only program. But why is it that the music hasn't caught on to the old kind of using music as a labor vehicle to talk about working conditions, talking about pushing for a better life, that better wages, better conditions frame?
Well, the music industry is exploitative as well. That's why I left it 10 years ago. And shout out to the Hip Hop Alliance. They formed the first union in history as well. Just a few months ago, I was with them. It hasn't happened yet. Rappers, musicians, artists, creatives, influencers, they get exploited as well. The fashion industry, the same thing. I've been out there with the Model Alliance in New York City. They get exploited all the time, and it's only because their managers and the manager's manager is making more money than the creatives and the people that's putting in the work. And having a union with the hip-hop and any industry in music is also vital right now, and I think people are starting to catch hold to that as well.
Yeah, no, education being the key to this, and which is why, again, I've been for decades been saying to my union buddies, you got to get into the schools and teach labor education. You got to teach the battles of the past and the fights that it took to get the 8-hour day, to get the weekend, vacations, health care, all of the things that we take for granted and easily kind of trade away for nickels and dimes. We got to learn the history of it, most certainly.
Yeah, on career day, teachers have to stop inviting police officers and fire chiefs, bring some union leaders and union presidents.
And bring you in. Because look, you clearly look like some of the high school kids today would identify. And you're right. You're not the typical labor leader, but you're effective, and that's I think is something really important.
Absolutely.
So last thing I got for you, the question going forward, what's the message for that Amazon worker out there right now who, maybe they're not being approached by an organizer, or any worker right now who's suffering under oppressive conditions or just not making ends meet? What's the message for them?
Yeah, there's unions all over this country. You just got to reach out. Don't be afraid. I know it's the first step is getting over that fear. We have to understand our value and understand our worth. And if you're upset, you're agitated, don't just sign a petition. Get involved. Reach out to these unions. Reach out to the ALU. Hit on our website, amazonlaborunion.org. Get involved. The time is now, and there's strength in numbers. So when we come together, nothing can stop us.
Good stuff. Christian, I appreciate you taking time for us. Great stuff. Keep up the amazing work you're doing, and I hope you'll come back and talk to us again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good stuff. Christian Smalls, president of the Amazon Labor Union. Love to hear your thoughts. You got any work stories you want us to know? Email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Quick break. Right back.